So it's 2022, and we finally got something that Duel Monsters fans have been asking for the better part of 20 years. Gate Guardian support. What's next? Hungry Burger support? Oh. Now, was I on the Gate Guardian support train? Honestly, no, not at all. Not to sound mean, but they're honestly such awful cards that I never thought they'd be able to work, even with a ton of support. And when the support was revealed, was I wrong? Well, they did the old Konami loophole when it comes to support, which basically means ignoring everything about the original cards and taking them in a completely new direction. And this support takes it to the next level. I mean, half the time we're setting the pieces of Gate Guardian in our back row. Who would do something like that? So is it any good? Well, now that we don't really ever need to summon any of their monsters, there is a ray of hope for them yet. Basically, they have a bunch of new support that I won't go over individually, but that all serves the purpose of placing Gate Guardian pieces as spells in our back row. They have a field spell, which isn't a hard once per turn, so it can be done multiple times as multiple copies, and they also have a field spell searcher, which becomes better due to what I just mentioned. And finally, they also have a monster that can just place a piece when summoned. The point of doing all this is their new Contact Fusion monsters. They have two types, ones that you need to control the cards on the field to make, which are all made out of 2 parts each, and then there's the 3 material fusion that's a combination of all of them, and can contact fusion by banishing from the hand, field, or graveyard. Let's start with that one, since it has an interesting effect. When your opponent targets any card you control, you can negate and destroy it, which sounds a bit mediocre, until you read that it's one of the very few thrice per turn effects. So basically it might as well just be blanket targeting protection, since your opponent probably won't want to be losing 3 cards just to be able to start targeting other things on your field. It also summons any of the next few fusions when leaving the field because of an opponent's effect, so that's kinda nice too. The 2 material fusion also summons something when forced to leave the field, but it's one of their materials instead. Other than that, these cards have a standout monster, which is Gate Guardian of Wind and Water. That one negates the effect of spells or traps on the field, and since it's a twice per turn, that's actually pretty good. For reference, Water and Thunder instead reduces an opponent's monster attack to 0 twice per turn, and the last one breaks the pattern by searching a Gate Guardian card instead, only once. So all in all, you'll basically be ending with 2 back row negades and dangerous targeting protection, possibly with some back row disruptions of your own, with the possibility of very quickly pivoting into an 80k thanks to Riryoku Guardian. Considering they started as one of the worst cards that fans wanted to get support for, it's honestly pretty good. But now let's take a look at the tech which ties it all together. Here's the deck. To get the obligatory Gate Guardian pieces out of the way, run 2 Suijins and 1 Raijin, but only 1 Sanga of the Thunder, since we'll use that one a bit less. Then for the new support, I maxed out on both of the monsters. Labyrinth Heavy Tank gets you a piece of your fusions while also being a good distraction effect when going second, so that one's pretty good for clearing the field for 80ks. Labyrinth Shadow Ghoul is good for its discard effect at 3, since it gets your field spell and also has a niche graveyard effect. Then we have Keeper of Dragon Magic at 3, which is surprisingly good in this deck. Not only does it search Fusion Dispatch, which is a free material, but if you have a material in the graveyard already, it can also revive it in order to use it again. The downsides don't really matter at all, since most of the time you're just contact fusing anyway. Elemental Hero Prisma is our other tech card that works super well in this deck. It can send a material to the graveyard, which can later be used by the 3 material fusion, but also copies the name of the card it sent, so that you can use it as a free fusion material as well. I run it at 2 since it has a lot of searches, but 3 could work as well. Speaking of, the searches are Emergency Call and A Hero Lives, the latter being better since not only does it not use your normal summon, but it also halves your life points, which makes Riryoku Guardian much stronger by making sure you'll be at lower life points than your opponent. Then we run 3 Fusion Dispatches since they're all the free material without any real downsides. Then run 3 Labyrinth Shadow Ball, and take advantage of it not being a hard once per turn. Run a Terraforming as well if you want by cutting either a Keeper of Dragon Magic or a Fusion Dispatch. Then Double Attack is pretty good at 2, being a good discard but also a fairly good card for its main effect to destroy something as well. Then to take advantage of the graveyard effects of most of this new support, as well as damaging yourself for Riryoku Guardian, I like Performer Pal Popper Up. It unbricks you, sends stuff to the graveyard, and is generally pretty useful. Another fun tech is Burial from a Different Dimension. By putting back your banished materials in the graveyard, you get to make another Gate Guardian assembled for free, sometimes even letting you end on 2 of them. Finally, round the deck out was one of each Foolish Burial, and then a Prey of the Jirai Gumo, and that's about it. The extra deck could be loaded up with a bunch of extra cards that you'll not only never really use, but also won't really be able to summon under Fusion Dispatch most of the time, so I won't overcomplicate this, and just tell you to run 3 of each Guardian with a potential cross sheep just to fill things out. Finally, I want to mention that you could focus on going second with cards like Lightning Storm and Forbidden Droplet, the latter especially useful since the discards could be used for getting searches off as your new support. You can also easily run Pot of Prosperity since you don't really use your extra deck much, but it does make the ATK a bit harder. Anyway, that's the deck. Now let's take a look at it in action. Time for some replays. Here's a hand with a Hero Lives, as well as both new main deck monsters. We'll start by searching the field spell, place it, and then use a Hero Lives to summon Prisma from the deck. We'll then summon Heavy Tank to get a Kazijin, before using Prisma to copy and send Suijin. We'll also place another Kazijin with the field spell, before making our fusions. We'll end with the 3 targeting negates, the 2 back row negates, All Shadows Protection in the graveyard, as well as the Destruction effect from double attack. This hand will show off Keeper of Dragon Magic. A Hero Lives gets a Prisma, before we use our normal summon on Keeper. It discards Heavy Tank for Fusion Dispatch since we can't summon that as well in this hand anyway. Prisma sends Suijin, and Keeper can revive it face down, which is fine for the fusion summons anyway. Now Dispatch gets us Kazijin, before Foolish Burial Good sends double attack for a Sanga. We then make a 2 material fusion, before recycling our materials with Burial, to then make a 3 material fusion as well, keeping our 2 level 4s for potential future use. Let's show off for going second ATK. First things first, we use Hero Lives to get a Prisma, who copies Kazijin. Then Foolish Burial Good sends double attack, which we can banish later. Heavy Tank places Sanga, and this time we fuse into Thunder and Wind to search a Viryoku Guardian. That card halves the opponent's life points before making our fusion monster's attack 6,500. Remember that we could also destroy something with Heavy Tank if you played the field spell first. We play that now though, and then banish double attack for a Suijin, and then a Viryoku to recycle the Sanga. That lets us make our 3 material fusion, and with this amount of attack, it should be easy to inflict 4,000 damage for an ATK. Finally, here's a hand with the more unique tech choices, Popper Up and Burial. We'll use Popper Up to discard Kazijin and Suijin, getting 2 new cards. A Hero Lives gets Prisma, copying Sanga of the Thunder. We then banish all 3 pieces from our graveyard for our fusion, and then get them all back with Burial from a different dimension. And since nothing's stopping us, we can just do that again, giving us 2 Gate Guardian assembleds. Heavy Tank gets back Kazijin, before the field spell recycles Suijin, both of which get us our back row negate fusion. We'll end with 6 entire targeting negates, as well as the 2 back row negates, with a ton of attack to make sure that we ATK next turn. So that's the deck! Were you one of the people who wanted Gate Guardian support since forever? And if so, did it pay off? Tell me in the comments below, and while you're down there, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching!